BSED English 2A. So for this video, I will be discussing about the BEP or Bilingual Education in the Philippines. So these are the questions. Number 1, define what is BEP. Number 2, what are the existing BEP in the Philippines? Number 3, the pros and cons BEP for individuals, students, and the nation. And number 4, the challenges faced by teachers, students, parents, and other stakeholders in the implementation or development of BEP. So number 1 question is, define what is BEP or bilingual education in the Philippines. So bilingual education in the Philippines is defined operationally as the separate use of Filipino and English as the media of instruction in specific subject areas as embodied in the DECS Order Number 25 Filipino changed to Filipino in 1987 shall be used as medium of instruction in social studies or social sciences, music, arts, physical education, home economics, practical arts, and character education. English, on the other hand, is allocated to science, mathematics, and technology subjects. So number 2 question, what are the existing BEP in the Philippines? So the goals of bilingual education policy shall be, number 1, enhance learning through the two language to achieve quality education as called for by the 1987 Constitution. Number 2, the propagation of Filipino as a language of literacy. Number 3, the development of Filipino as linguistic symbol of national unity and identity. So number 3 question, what are the pros and cons BEP for individual students and the nation? So bilingual education has become increasingly popular over the past decade. Bilingual education means that academic content is taught in more than one language. This includes teaching kids in their native language as well as in a secondary foreign language. Although there are several advantages related to bilingual education, it also implies some shortcomings. So in these articles, the pros and cons of bilingual education are examined. So these are the advantages of bilingual education. Number 1, cultural awareness. So one main advantages of bilingual education is that it gives us the opportunity to raise the cultural awareness of children. We often claim to be quiet, tolerant in our society, yet there is still plenty of discrimination around all over the world. By teaching children in more than one language, we will be also to improve their level of tolerance since children will become more aware of the fact that there are many different cultures and languages on our planet, and that is important to preserve all this knowledge. Therefore, through bilingual education, the overall level of tolerance towards other cultures might be increased in our society. Second is make it easier to learn a secondary language. So since children in bilingual schools will simply have no choice regarding whether they want to learn a secondary language or not, chances are they will simply accept it and see it as a sort of normal education behavior for them. In turn, it will become quite easy for them to learn this language since it is part of their regular education. Moreover, it might also be quite nice for children to be educated in a foreign language since it makes the whole education process more interesting. Third, automatic adaptation of the new language. After some practice, it will also become quite easy for children to learn new language since they are also used to it. At a young age, children are willing to learn many new different things, and therefore, the bilingual education should start as early as possible in order to make it easy for children to adapt to this alternative education framework. So these are the disadvantages of bilingual education. First, may be hard at the beginning. Apart from the many important advantages of bilingual education, there are also some issues related to it. One problem with bilingual education is that it might be quite hard for children to learn a language at the beginning. Not only they have to learn the foreign language, they also have to understand what's going on in terms of actual subject material that should be taught. Therefore, the first month or years of bilingual education might be quite hard for children, and some kids may not be willing to take this effort. However, over time, it will become far easier since children will have learned the basic and can operate from there. Thus, if your kids struggle with bilingual education, you should help him or her get through this period since it will easier over time. Number two disadvantages is bilingual education may require more time to learn. So another disadvantages of bilingual education is that it may also be quiet, time consuming for children. It usually takes much longer to understand and to study subject in a foreign language compared to learning at the same things in a native language. Hence, many children may have to study quiet, hard to achieve their educational goals. However, in turn, this may also imply that there will be less time for other important things left. Third, less time for other important activities. If children have to learn for long hours every day, chances are that they will have less leisure time to spend with their friends or for other hobbies they like. In turn, the motivation for bilingual education may significantly suffer over time, and many kids may no longer be willing to participate in this kind of education. They might either switch school or may just sit in school in a motivated manner and wait until the school day is over. So the last question is the challenges faced by teachers, students, parents, and other stakeholders in the implementation or development of BEP. Some problems encountered by the teachers in implementing mother tongue-based instruction include absence of book written in mother tongue, lack of vocabulary, and the lack of teacher training. Nevertheless, the study indicated that major attention and effort are still necessary to be given to the approach.